Alpha welcomes Helen to their civilization, which she describes as ancient and superior. The Catwomen have psychic powers, which is how they know English. Funny that they need to explain that in a movie where astronauts light matches and take off their helmets in alien environments. And the Catwoman contacted Helen through her dreams to bring her here. Helen thanks her for giving her knowledge of space navigation to fool people into thinking she's a genius, which basically says that she possesses no power of any kind, only the semblance of power from evil pseudo-lesbian space feminists. Beta lays it out for us plainly.
We have no use for men.
That's right, feminism has nothing to do with wanting to get rid of double standards, gender stereotypes, unhealthy beauty standards, objectification of women, history books that bias male achievements over female, media coverage that reduces women to their bodies, devaluing of certain body types, violence against women, a culture that promotes rape, the stigmatization of coming out as a victim of sexual violence, female genital mutilation, the wage gap, the glass ceiling, workplace harassment, sexist hiring practices, the stigma of menstruation, sexual education that doesn't explain how women's parts work beyond how the men can get off, requiring the husband's permission for independent finances, restrictions on entering combative roles in the military, and overall disrespect of women. No. Feminists just want to get rid of men because all feminist ideology can be simplified to man-hating so that they can take over the world.
They say they're working for us, but what they really want is to rule the world!
Alpha elaborates that they don't like men because they can't control them with their psychic abilities, like they can control women, which positions them as fundamentally lesser than men even as they're supposedly strong women by definition. It's like the Christian stories that have God always defeat the devil in the end, but with men always defeating women in the end, with the same sense of a moral order. It also depicts women like Helen as victims of the evil feminists. They might take their natural place if they were allowed to be good, but the evil feminists seduce them into their fold with the thoughts of superiority. Alpha says that the mission with one woman was the best she could do, but she would have preferred an all-female mission, thereby negatively portraying real-world feminist attempts to get women to excel in male-dominated fields. Alpha gives exposition on how the moon used to have a decent atmosphere, but they started losing it somehow and made the mistake of focusing their technological advancement trying to hold on to what atmosphere they had instead of going to Earth. And when they started running out of oxygen, the cat women decided to kill the cat men to control the population. Now they have a similar problem and are trying to use a human spaceship to get to Earth. While Robot Monster features an alien cyborg gorilla thing as an allusion to Stalin, this film has an alien Catwoman as an allusion to Hitler, making an almost literal manifestation of the slur feminazi. Helen and the Catwomen come out to meet the men, Turncoat Helen presenting herself as the reasonable ambassador, trying to get the men to disarm themselves in a gesture, while the men are rightly suspicious. It's a sexist message about how women are supposedly trying to take men's power away under the guise of pacifism. Helen plays on political tension between Laird and Kip to sway Laird. That's a sexist message about women playing men off of each other to gain an advantage. Every single thing here is sexist. Every single thing. Some of the subordinate Catwomen try to seduce the men by acting submissive, which isn't at all feminist related, but it does add sex appeal and is sexist in that regard. This scene has a lot of sexual objectification, complete with a male gaze shot from Kip's point of view. It's sort of connected to the idea of the succubus, which is a part of misogyny in depicting the evil women swaying monks away from abstinence, instead of them having their own sexual drives. And this is a movie where all sexist ideas come together.
That's a damn stupid thing to do.
The Catwomen offer the men alien honeydew. No, really. Which all of them but Kip partake in. Kip has the right idea, but only because he doesn't trust the Catwomen. Not that it's stupid to eat something from a completely alien environment. Even Stargate at least mentioned that issue. And there's this stupid greedy guy, Walt, who asks for a souvenir to take home, and Beta hands him her slave bracelet.
We'd call these things slave bracelets.
Because that's a compliment. It's made from an alien metal, and he thought it would be gold, and it comes out that they've got tons of gold just lying around that they see as worthless.
What am I gonna do with all this gold?
She persuades him to take her aboard the rocket in exchange for showing him where to mine. Hey, he probably brought mining equipment on the rocket too.
You're the first man I've ever seen. Ours died off when I was still a child.
Gee, It's a lucky thing we came along. Well, I mean, so you'd know what a man looks like. I mean, I'm sorry about you menfolk.
Fine, that's kind of funny. Alpha announces that the day's over, time for bed, and tomorrow they'll give everyone back their spacesuits. Kip tries to organize the party, but encounters difficulty from Laird and sees that Walt's gone. He confronts Helen alone, using his manly, vaguely rapey presence to intimidate her. He says that the only reason he didn't do this sooner was that he respected her for the qualities that we know she doesn't really have. This manly intimidation breaks down the evil feminist mind control, and the properly subordinate Helen explains that Alpha was controlling her to hurt them and take the ship, and this puts her in the position to be kissed now that she's properly back in her place. Helen sees the mark on her hand and falls back into evil mode. She tells Kip to keep this to himself and acts annoyed by his affection, 'cause women. Kip pretends to submit to Laird's authority and apologizes. Laird shares his thoughts that the Catwomen are a superior society.
These people may be far ahead of us in many things.
Not as far as they think.
What do you mean?
Nothing.
That's our message from our hero, like saying, the feminists think they're superior, but they're not, and they must be stopped. Laird is the stupid, less masculine guy who doesn't see the danger and is to be disrespected by the audience. Meanwhile, Walt shows Beta the ship. Beta learns the controls, and Walt says that he doesn't like smart women.
You're too smart for me, baby. I like 'em stupid.
Beta takes this as flirtation for some reason and evilly suggests that she should take over his job. Dun dun dun! No, we can't let the women take men's jobs away! Then the men will be no better than women! Back at the city, the Catwomen do cat ballet or something just to look sexy. Doug wakes up and checks out the cat ballet. Lambda, a rather submissive and thus sympathetic Catwoman, looks pretty to the camera and seduces him. Kip wakes up a moment later and investigates the music. He watches Lambda lead Doug off. Kip goes to fill in Helen, who is evil and already knows. She leads him into danger by telling him to go rescue Doug, and then she stalks Laird, 'cause women. At the same time, Beta shows Walt the gold. Dog! And then kills him. 'Cause women. Lambda, however, admits that she's in love with Doug, and she betrays Alpha. Doug says that the Catwomen don't have to resort to violence, because other ships will come and they can work out a peaceful solution. He promises that he'll come back to her, and they share a romantic moment. Kip finds Helen seducing Laird, apparently in love with him. She says that what she said about Alpha was just nonsense to get him to leave her alone, which obviously makes no sense, but it does effectively drive a wedge between Laird and Kip, because women mess with men's loyalties to each other to further their own selfish ends. Alpha, Beta, and Lambda talk about their progress. Lambda tries to save Doug, but Alpha doesn't like that. Beta sees that Lambda has fallen for him. Alpha wants to impose man-hating fascism, but Lambda defies her and says that she and Doug are necessary for Alpha's plans. In some reason she doesn't say, which is a pretty weak claim. Alpha slaps her because that's something cats do. Doug tells Kip about Alpha's plans, and the two of them go to save Laird. Kip grabs Helen's hand and suppresses Alpha's influence. He interrogates her about Alpha's plans, confirms a few details, and then asks who she really loves. She says it's him, and they kiss. Laird gets jealous and attacks him, and Helen backs away and gets back under Alpha's control. Note how Helen completely loses agency here. It's all Kip versus Laird versus Alpha. Helen, Alpha, and Beta make a dash for the rocket. Lambda steals a couple of spacesuits so Doug and Kip chase after them. Lambda teleports to the Catwomen and tries to save Helen, but Alpha kills Lambda. Kip shoots Alpha and Beta off screen and rescues Helen. The remaining crew take their rocket back to Earth. The end. Wow. This movie is crap. Aside from the bad science and stupid storytelling, it's a complete anti-feminist distortion of the world and how women think. In terms of sexist science fiction, it makes the moon as a harsh mistress look like gravity.
Gravity is a harsh mistress.
What's really sad is that this movie is not anomalous. It's just one entry in a whole genre of evil space lesbians, one which is nicely parodied by cartoonist Megan Rose Gedris in her feminist series, I Was Kidnapped by Lesbian Pirates from Outer Space, which she recommends people download illegally by torrent, like a real pirate. This genre is absolutely irrational, paranoid, hateful, and an excellent look into the anti-feminist mind. This is the face of the enemy, and he is terrifyingly out of touch with reality.
Stupid! You're so stupid!